This is Janice, and I am coming to you with our special guest, DJ iSizzle. And I don't know if he wants me to use his real name, but this is his stage name. And we're going to talk about what he does, how he got started a little bit, and what's in his future. And let's start with you giving us just a tad bit of background,
Sure.
and you roll with that, and then we'll just bounce back and forth.
Sure. How far do you want me to go back? Like, what
Oh,
kind of background are you thinking about? Like, do you want it where it all started, or do you want more like just in the recent, or like when I started the business, or what were you kind of thinking?
oh, just touch base on where the passion started. Let's do that.
Sure, sure. So I was in middle school and I was living up on the San Juan Islands, and there was a DJ from the local station from Seattle that came up and he did a dance for us. And then it turned out that he was willing to train certain kids to like become a DJ. So I was one of the kids that he trained. And I think there was like five or six other kids that were in the actual like class training, but I was the only one that kind of stuck around. So he ended up coming back multiple times up to the island and doing dances, but he ended up like saying, "Hey, if you want to just kind of take over and you want to play music and get on the microphone, I trust that, you can do what you do." So from there, I pretty much just kept going with it, got my own equipment and just opened up a business and things kind of took off. And then I took a little break for a while. And then post COVID, I said, "Hey, I think there's going to be a wedding, a wedding boom." So I got back into the business, practiced a bunch, and I found that there was a wedding boom. And I just started, I put my services up on the internet and I started showing people I can DJ, and people started asking me to DJ their weddings. And 3 or 4 years later, I mean, a couple hundred weddings in. So um, yeah, I've been very lucky and blessed and fortunate.
That's an awesome story to start so long ago and to step out into it as an adult, but the passion was there all along. Have you always had a passion for music in general?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm like the youngest of three, and
Oh,
my parents had me when they were like later, like in their 30s. So I was kind of the the younger experimental child. So they were really into like the Beatles and like 60s, 70s. They kind of introduced me to like the Elvis era and stuff. They used to listen to, well, what's now oldies all the time when I was growing up. So I always got like a good mix of music. And then my brother, he was like, I think he was like 10 or 11 years older than me. So he was always listening to more like 80s music when we were growing up. And then my sister was more into like country and like rock and roll and even like Christian music she was really into. So I got a good mix of everything, but I was more like into like hip hop and stuff. So yeah, I definitely have a wide range of musical knowledge, I guess, from having, yeah, just that age difference, I think within the family really helped a lot. Like just as far as shaping musical knowledge.
well, and that puts you in a position to work with all ages. So give me or give everybody listening a little rundown on um, what your audiences are like and what you enjoy about each of the audiences.
Sure. So my favorite audience is weddings because weddings, it's pretty much newborns all the way up to centennials. So anybody, it could be people over 100 years old there. So it's pretty much just a wide variety of music when it comes to weddings, and you get to play a lot of classics as well. So weddings are really fun. Elementary school dances are really fun because the kids get really hype, and then you learn about what the new trends are going to be because they request a lot of artists that if you're at a wedding, you're probably not going to break a new artist or a new song, like unless it's like the couple's like their favorite new song or artist or something. So it's nice with the younger kids because you get to actually learn like what the new trend is going to be. Like a couple years ago, Taylor Swift had like a resurgence, and I remember I was DJing a birthday party and it turned into this karaoke. Everything was Taylor Swift. And before like that time, I mean, like you play a few Taylor Swift songs, but you kind of thought of her as like the breakup like artist that you would listen to and no one would really dance to her. And then they kept requesting these like three or four songs from her. And then ever since that moment, like the next 2 years were just like nothing but requests for all her music. And then even now, like I'll incorporate that into the sets. But working with the younger crowds, you definitely find like the next big songs that are going to be coming up.
That's amazing. Yeah, because you're going to be having all ages. Now you do weddings are your favorite.
Mhm.
And let's see, what would you say your most fun type of event is other than a wedding? Is there anything else that stands out?
I would say the glow light events are really fun. It's just more like as you get older, you don't get excited as about as much stuff. So when you see kids getting excited about a song, or you see like 30 of them jumping up and down singing the lyrics to a song, like it makes you feel younger and it makes you feel a little more like you can be excited about things like as you get older. So it's fun to watch the excitement. So, but weddings, you do get kind of that same energy. It just kind of depends on the bride and groom, as far as like if they're more of a dancing crowd or if they're more of like their friends want to dance. What I've
Yeah.
kind of found is like if the bride dances, then everybody else dances. But if the bride's kind of a little more shy, then you still have dancing, but it's not on that same like up level. So,
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, for our audience that does not know what a glow light party is,
mhm.
give us a little perspective on that.
Sure. So it's think about it like neons, like bright colors, but they glow in the dark. I have a set of these like crazy powerful black lights, which would take your white shirt and just make it glow like crazy. So anything neon that you wear, bright colored, like just straight white, it'll like shine like crazy into your face. So I'll bring glow sticks that you can turn on and then you kind of wave around, as well as I'll have like glasses that you can put on that are like neon green, neon pink. You can turn them on, they flash or whatever else. So, and then as well as we'll incorporate like a light up limbo. Like so we'll get some like limbo lines going and everything. So it's usually it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours, but it's just nonstop, like high energy, fun, like everything from like Baby Shark to I don't know, like all the fun stuff like Cha Cha Slide. I've done the Cha Cha Slide so many times in the last couple of years. I don't think I could count how many times I've done the cha-cha slide, but it's so much fun and
Uh,
it's interaction and everybody can become a community and you just kind of forget about your differences and you just enjoy each other's company in those moments. So yeah.
oh, so what age groups tend towards the glow light parties?
Um, it kind of varies, like, but for what I found for the most part, it's elementary, like elementary age kids. So probably somewhere in like 6 to 12, somewhere in
Oh,
that age group. Sometimes younger, like sometimes it'll be kindergarten. I've the previous one we did a couple weeks ago, there was actually like babies there. Like there's actually babies. Like people are like holding babies up on the dance floor and stuff, dancing with them and stuff. So that's pretty fun. But we also do like middle school dances. You can do glow lights as well. It kind of varies on year too, but I found like October is a good time to do them as well as like February because like in the Northwest it's really dark. January,
oh.
February, so they work out better. Like if you try to do it in June, it's not as good because it's still light out and doesn't have that same like mysterious feel to it.
Well, that's really amazing. It's I'd never heard of a glow light party until I got to know you, and I find that really fascinating. I'm imagine there's some crazy enough adults that might get out there and just want something wild like that.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I think the adults sometimes they enjoy it a little bit more than the kids do. So I definitely, I've seen them jumping up and down, and then at the end, I'll have adults come up to me and be like, "Thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. You got the kids hype. Maybe I was a little hype too, but it's cool. I like that though. I like that people can just enjoy themselves for a moment and not be too concerned about what other people are going to think of them, and all that stuff goes along with getting older. So
Oh, I totally relate to that. Now,
yeah.
you do a wide variety of events, like you said, and have you had any particular style of wedding that you thought was unique, fun, or maybe you've had a disaster you want to share? Because I don't know, maybe you haven't had, but why don't you
Yeah.
share a funny story?
Sure. So I'll tell you what, I've been lucky enough to not have any disasters. I always talk to the couple before I actually, it's kind of a screening process to make sure that I'm the right DJ for them. Because some DJs, they're MCs as well, and they like to get out there and tell jokes, and they like to be this or that. And I'm not really into like the cheesy joke telling stuff. So I was let couples know that right away. Like I'm great with transitioning and I'll make sure everybody gets up there, does their toasts and everything like that. But as far as like telling marriage jokes and stuff, that's not my deal. So I let couples know that right away. As well as I will tell you, I had a really cool 50th wedding anniversary recently, and it was a Hawaiian theme, which was really
Oh,
cool. And then I don't know if you have Dick's Burgers in Oregon. I don't know if you guys have that or not. It's just like a Northwest thing. It's been around for about 50, 60 years, but they had them come up and cater it as well. So instead of like a traditional, I guess, like 50th anniversary, they said we're gonna do Hawaiian shirts, we're gonna we're gonna do Dick's Burgers, and we're gonna make it a Hawaiian theme. And then the cake was like I want to say it was like 5 feet tall and like there was like lights rolling up on top of it as well. So I have a bunch of the stuff on social media. It was a really cool event, and they got they renewed their vows at 50 years, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, that was the 50th year anniversary is like as many weddings and different events I do, those ones they tend to be a little more emotional like as far as when people are ready to recommit themselves uh, after 50 years of marriage. So, and they were the nicest couple too. Like they came up a couple times, introduced themselves, and they had photos from when they first got married to now. And like he still had his mustache, and I don't know if he had his mustache since he was like 16 or 17, but he still had his mustache. So we were kind of commenting on that and everything. So we were like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool stuff.
that's great. Now, do you dress up in their theme when there is a theme? Do you?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I always talk to him beforehand because I don't want to be wearing a Hawaiian shirt to a business casual wedding by accident, you know, like, whoop, wrong event. You know, I didn't mean to overdress here or underdress. So, yeah, I'll always talk to him about that beforehand. And um, a lot of couples too, like they'll do a half and half thing where they'll do all their photos up front because couples are getting up at like 7 a.m. in the morning for like a 3 o'clock ceremony. So they're doing all their hair, their makeup, they're getting everybody like the bridesmaid, the groomsmen all together for like photos and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's an all day thing. And then a lot of times couples, once we get to the dancing section, they'll run to the back and they'll put on their comfy clothes. They'll just be like, we're done, photographer's gone. Let's just party, let's just have a good time. We don't want to be all uptight anymore and like make sure the photos look good, you know, in every angle. So um,
Yeah, that's fantastic. Hmm.
yeah.
Somebody must be coming to see me. My nose is itching. Uh,
Oh,
that's an old saying, probably from the South. Okay. Now, for your future, I know you've done an average of what, a couple hundred events over the past year. And from our previous discussions, you've got quite a goal for this coming 2025. So why don't you tell us about it?
yeah. You're pretty close. I've done about 75 to 77 was kind of my record year in events. So this coming year, I'm looking at 200 as being the goal for events. I I get such an enjoyment with seeing people come together and just the excitement of being on a stage and playing music and getting people hype and getting people excited off of, you know, dancing and coming together that I said, you know what? If I could do more of these, I think my life
Mhm.
would be even better. And I think I would find even like just the happiness from doing the events and, you know, that's what I really enjoy. So I think if we can spread a little more positivity and happiness through these events, I think 200 is the goal. So we'll see. I know it's ambitious, but
It is. It is. It is totally ambitious, but doable. I mean, you've got somebody that assists you, so you're not going alone, and
oh
you've got
no.
some great ideas. But there's a little more to DJ iSizzle than meets the eye. So tell me about this upcoming, I think you've got a book in the works.
Yes, yes, the book is in the works, and I want to thank you. I think I messaged you or something, and you were telling me you know somebody or somebody in your family that had written a book or curriculum as a DJ, and it actually got into a school and they use it, and I was like, man, that's such a great idea, so much inspiration. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
But then I came up with the idea. I said, why not? put a book together of all the experiences, all the events that I've done, and kind of, talk about the positivity within these events, the happiness, bringing different ages, cultures, all the songs that unite people, and then putting that into a book, and then spreading some of that happiness and cheer. Um,
Yeah,
with the book and everything. So I haven't really written a book before, so this was kind of a whole different experience. And I was like, well, might as well keep learning and keep trying new stuff. So,
well, it's all about telling your story, and we've all got a story, but not everybody will tell it.
mm,
Now, yeah, yes, I have a nephew that's been a professional DJ for, I don't know, 20 some years now. And he did. He got got a curriculum established in a California university. And what I see is someone like yourself that you've got aspirations to share the joy, share the happiness, but also to mentor and help up and coming young people with the same aspiration, or maybe they don't even know they have that, like I love music, but can I really do this? And that's where the encouragement can come in. You can encourage them to um, follow their dream, but also give them the practical steps. And what I've found through my experience with coaching and such is helping people avoid pitfalls that you
mm.
have. I mean, and you had a learning curve. Is you care to share anything about your learning curve?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe it's a little cliche, but when I was like 9, 10, 11, like I couldn't get up on a stage. I could barely um do anything up on a stage. I was so scared and nervous, and I'd kind of tear up a little bit, get a stiff upper lip or whatever, kind of get that little like nervous feeling in my mind. And um, but once I started, playing music and I did it a few more times, I kept getting up on stage, and you'll find everybody is kind of afraid to get up on stage and say anything in front of people. I don't know if it's like a fear of in your mind you think it's going to be the best thing, but then the result is completely different than what you thought in your mind. So I think that might be a little bit of it, but I think you just have to defeat those fears, because if you let them control you, you're never gonna succeed in anything that you really want to do, and I don't think you'll find that happiness and fulfillment, if you don't break some of those fears and just say, you know what, sure, if I make a mistake, I make a mistake, I mean, it's whatever. At least you're up there doing something. I think people respect you more for actually getting up there. So,
And
yeah.
yeah, it can be nerve-wracking. I've done a little bit of public speaking and directing meetings and things. I've done a lot of that. And it can be at first, and then you just realize, hey, these are people too.
Hmm.
And some of them wouldn't even dream of getting up on stage.
Oh,
And
oh,
you gradually start to just settle in and not worry about what people think. You're bringing your best. You're doing your best. So
for
that's
sure. For
yeah,
sure. Yeah. And I noticed too, like when I first started doing it, it was just kind of like, you know, be like middle school kids when I was young, like a little bit, like a year or two older. I'd be in ninth grade and then I'd be DJing to kids that were like sixth and seventh grade. And then now, and it was, you're like 40, 50 people in a crowd. But now it's like 200 people, all ages. You're getting up there, introducing people for toasts. You're introducing, all these different things. And people know if you're nervous, and people know if you don't do this all the time. So I found that the first couple times I started doing it, I had to write everything down because like I would get a mental blank or like I would just completely forget what I was saying. So I do kind of like some stuff where I just have like a little piece of paper next to me or something. I just kind of look down at it if I forget where I was at with whatever I was doing, like as far as hosting goes. So, but the more you do it, the better you get, and I have actually become more addicted to getting up in front of people and actually talking. So it's one of those things that once you overcome it, you kind of use it as like a fuel to just keep going.
that's fantastic. And considering you want to step into potentially training younger DJs and that type of thing, they can learn from you, and you could even bring them alongside to an event that's casual and give them a little bit of a taste of what you're doing and say, hey, do you want to announce the next song or something like that? It would be fun for them just to see. And they'll be, I'm nervous. And you go, yeah, I get it. Been there, done that. So,
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Well, you just have to put them away. You got to breathe too. That's the big thing. Like I think we forget to breathe on a daily basis, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Hold it in for a few seconds and then just release that whatever that energy is that's kind of holding you back or some sort of fear. But and then also I'd just say, hey, if you're starting, just really prepare like extra preparation for everything. So that'll make sure that everything goes smoothly as well.
yeah, I mean, you come in as organized as you possibly can. You've had your conversations, you've done the preparation. Now, weddings are have been one of your lead events.
Mhm.
So and you do your schools. I think there's other stuff that you do. So give us a little bit information of kind of a broad picture of other events that are possibilities, because you never know who might be listening to this going, oh, he does that too. So yeah, give us a little bit broader
Sure.
scope.
Sure. So, well, I can talk about a couple events that I did that were kind of different. I did a store opening for Target.
Oh,
That was pretty cool. It was a soft store opening, so the store hadn't opened yet, but what was cool is you got to take a tour before any general public had been in there. So it was like this perfectly set up store. They had a soft opening. They had the mayor there. It was red carpet. They had the ribbon cutting as well. So it was a really fun event. And then there was Amazon contacted me for a holiday party downtown Seattle, and they have like a spear just outside the building and stuff. So that was a really cool one. Some events they don't want you to be like all hype and playing pop music. They just kind of want like, hey, just play a little like play music that isn't necessarily known, but just kind of more background music. And then, if you want to help us host a little bit here and there, for like some raffles or for some giveaways and stuff, we're great with that as well. So those are fun. And then I did one for Black Angus Steakhouse that they just had me come in for their, I think it was like their 56th year anniversary. And they just
wow.
normally they had bands, but they're like, hey, let's try a DJ. And so they had me come in and I'm just set up in the middle of their dining room steakhouse with my speakers and just like playing country, like classic country music, newer country music and stuff. Everybody's just eating their steaks and just ordering food. But it's not like they're gonna get up and like do line dancing or anything. But I'm just there to kind of keep the music going and the energy levels up. So um, yeah, so those are just kind of some random events that you do, and there it's kind of a nice it's nice to switch over a little bit because you do something too much, you kind of maybe get a little sick of it, or you're just like, okay, I know how this is going to go, and then you do something different, you're like, oh, that was fun. It was nice to kind of switch things up a little bit.
Do you do bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs and things of that nature?
I have not I've done quinceañeras,
Okay.
which are crazy challenging. Yeah, I mean, you ask for a playlist and stuff, but you're still going to be playing some like salsa, some merengue. Like you're going to be playing totally different genres that maybe you're not familiar with, like to an American audience. So those are definitely knowledgeable events. Like I'll study a couple of weeks of just nonstop music. I'll look online to top stream songs. I'll look at blogs. I'll look as many different things as I can to like know which songs are like popular songs within that culture. So it's scary though, because you'll get out there and you'll start playing the songs, and like the worst thing that could happen is everybody clears the dance floor. So luckily, I haven't had that problem, and people will come up and request certain songs, and then it'll keep the party going. But for the most part, as long as you have a good playlist that will keep you going for at least like 3 to 4 hours, lots of songs to choose from, just these are my top songs that I'm going to play up front. This is my opening set, and then you can kind of get a little more lax once the opening set kind of dies out a little bit, and then people start coming up and requesting songs for their friends and family. So, but definitely a challenging event, but it's also rewarding, if you can ace the test. So,
I'm kidding. I can imagine. Let's see. I was going to ask you a question about office business. You mentioned Amazon.
mhm.
Do you do many Christmas or holiday parties for businesses?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. We've been hired a couple years I can't see. I can't say some of the businesses because they're like
It's
privately
okay.
owned, like secretive businesses. But the first one was in a mansion in Seattle, and then the second one they moved to like an actual lounge and stuff. But those ones are different too because like they'll have you open with like classic Christmas music from like Glenn Miller Band to like Sinatra, and then they'll go into like a whole disco set, and then they'll do like they'll just like randomly stop and be like, we're gonna do some like Q&A, like question and answer, like trivia. And then they'll be like, okay, go play your music again. And then they'll stop again. They'll be like, would you mind playing like My Way? Somebody wants to come up and just sing some karaoke. So those ones are a little more random and stuff, but they're really fun. And man, some of these guys, man, they'll get up on the microphone. They'll kill it. Like their vocals are insane. And like everybody's just hype and just cheering them on and stuff. And so those are fun moments, those are definitely out of the ordinary moments, which definitely help an event, like I think elevate to the next level.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You're not bored with what you do. You meet
Oh,
so many
definitely not.
people and and all the different styles of music. There's also something else you've been into lately, and I think this is a fun thing to talk about
Okay.
because you said you've trimmed down. I never thought you needed to just from pictures, but I want to know about and tell our audience about what have you been doing, not just the gym, but you have been getting on the dance floor yourself.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's been a serious learning experience. Um so I was looking I was like, man, I'm performing all these shows and it's cool. I'm in the background going, yeah, yeah, come on guys, get up there, let's dance. Let's go. Come on, party. And I'm like, I don't really dance. Why don't I dance? Like other than like some cha-cha slide or Cupid shuffle or just some like, electric slide, some, the simple dances or the twist by Chubby Checker. I don't know. I'm like, why don't I learn how to do a couple moves? So, so I signed myself up for some like a Zumba class, and I kind of know what Zumba is. Do you know what Zumba is? Are you familiar with like Zumba classes and stuff? Okay.
Haven't done it, but I know what it is.
Okay, so I kind of know what it is, but I don't. I didn't realize it's like pretty much like African tribal dance, like fast feet. And like it's just like crazy, like 140 beats, 130 beats per minute, which is like, so let me put it this way. Okay. Some of the fastest songs you'll ever play and people will like gas out are about 140 beats. Some of these like Zumba songs will get up to like 150, 160 beats and it'll be like an hour straight of this music. And you're in the back of the class and you're just watching the teacher. Now keep in mind, I was 20 pounds heavier when I first started Zumba. So I'm out there like just sweating it. I get about 10 minutes into this class and I'm just like, man, I think I'm gonna walk out. I don't think I can do this. I just can't. I'm just breathing heavy. I'm just sweating as much as I can. The teacher looks back, she smiles, and she's like, "Are you guys sweating? You guys sweating? You guys good?" I'm just like, "Yeah, yeah, we're sweating, all right." But I stuck with it, and I think we're about 2 months in now, and I've actually like the teacher is like super cool now, and like she'll vary up the classes now where like when it was Halloween, she was like playing like Somebody's Watching Me and like Thriller and like so she will bring the beats down a little bit more than when I first started. So at first I thought it was just gonna be like nothing but like fast music and I'm like trying to keep up. I'm like I got bricks for feet. Like my I have like basketball shoes on instead of like light shoes. I didn't realize that and all that kind of stuff too. So I changed my shoes out and then I switched some of my clothes out because they were like super heavy and stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. I can finally figure out how to do this in a lighter way. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. Just that's a great story. And your book, I've had a few peeks at it, obviously, since I'm working with it. And I think some of this might be good addition to your book because, anything to tell your story is going to mean something and just give more meaning to the book, not just about,
Mhm,
the DJing. So
for
it's
sure.
yeah, it's who are you in the background. Now, we're going to be out of time here shortly. So, is there anything else that you'd like to share before we wrap up our call here?
Yeah. You know what? Kind of feeling led to share this. So yeah, I hit a point where go back to kind of the fitness thing. I hit a point where I guess you would call it like skinny fat, where you're like larger and you're sweating a bunch when you're moving around basic stuff. And a lot of stuff was here and in my stomach. And what I realized is I said, that first day getting out to the gym was the hardest. Like I had to have my wife like push me out of bed, like roll me out. Like she was just like, "You gotta go, go, please go." I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'm doing this." I'm like, "Where are my shoes? Where are my keys? I don't know." But I made it there, and then after that, you just progressively you have to keep going, you know. And then once you keep going, you're just like, "Okay, now I feel better." Okay, and then I just kept educating myself on like what to eat, what not to eat. And anybody that's trying to do, you know, weight loss, it's really hard to do just because we live in such a great country of food everywhere. So it's really hard to lose some of that weight. But I noticed once I lost some of that weight, the energy levels are up, the positivity levels are up. So anybody that's trying to do it, hey, get yourself a Zumba class and you know, go for it. And then as well as like get yourself a quick gym membership and then just go every day, 3 times a day. I just do simple stuff on a treadmill, like I'll do an incline at 2.5 miles an hour. If I do heavy cardio, I'm like super hungry. So I just keep it light. I do 10,000 steps, keep it light, kind of curbs my appetite as well. So um, that's something I would recommend right off the muscle is like don't do too much cardio to be hungry and then you'll just overeat and you won't lose any weight and stuff. So that and just drink lots of water as well. That's like another secret that I had was just drinking lots of water. And then
Oh,
also just enjoying your life, you know. You should eat, you know, eat as well, you know, enjoy, you know, we're here to enjoy. But
we
um,
are, and I think it's easy to lose track of that and get caught up in the uh I coached somebody at some point that had other issues, but they were making up for it with over exercising
you can do
and
that
so
easily. Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
got to have balance. You've got to
Oh,
have
for
balance.
sure.
So with our recording here that we're doing, we will make sure that the information to how to contact you gets out. DJ iSizzle. And it's just been my pleasure to interview you here, and so much fun, and so much has changed since we met a couple of years ago.
I know, right? And thank you for contacting me and setting up this interview too. You're just like, hey, let's do an interview. Like for sure, I would love to. And
Definitely.
you do such a great job with your coaching and training and just, you know, come on, push forward, people, push forward.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I was a little tough on one of my clients last week. So you so this is Janice Devo signing off.